Hi, welcome to Dave's Guide to Stihl Chainsaw Chains. In this video, I'm going to discuss the different types of cutters on the chainsaw chains that will help you in being more productive. So this is my dad's Stihl MS-170, and this one has the 3/8 pitch Pico Micro Mini. One thing I suggest is you save your boxes and you have a backup chain in case you're out in the woods and your chain either breaks or it gets dull. You can take your old one off, just take off the side cover to switch out, take off your old chain, throw a new one on, and you can cut again. Or you got to sharpen it out in the woods. Either one. But if it breaks, well, you're done. Pretty much. You should always have a backup. What also helps now is to have a steel book. This one is a 2020. From Stihl USA. They have different books for different countries, different websites for different countries. And now in this Stihl book, there's a section on saw chains, and it goes basically over the different chains you can get for your saw, the different sizes, the different skip patterns. They even have harvester chain. Another important page is this, what do you call it? Recommended guide bars and recommended chains. Also goes over the numbering system. So the MS-170 uses this Stihl Pico Micro Mini 3, which 3 means it's a little kickback, or PMM3. Then you look here, it says it's green, so it's a low kickback chain. The 3/8 Pico. And then here's what it actually looks like, the box. And that is the only chain you can get for that series of saw unless you switch over to a different bar. So that Pico Micro Mini, you can see they run that on the MS-170, 171, MS-180, and MS-181 versions. You can go from 12 to a 16-inch bar. So Stihl only makes one chain for that. I think it's because it's the smaller homeowner series. And part of the reason why they do that is because it's a special chain made for the smaller saws. It's narrow kerf. The kerf is the size of the material removed in the cut. So by having a narrow kerf chain, it lets this smaller saw actually cut more like a bigger one. You kind of think of it in terms of horsepower. Say something with half the horsepower of a bigger saw should be roughly twice as slow, but that's not the case because you're removing less material, which takes less horsepower, and that's why these saws actually, for their size and their price, perform decent. So right now on my 241, I have the Carbide on there. Here's the specs for it. The Carbide chains cost more money, but I've been having good luck with them. They don't all come in gold boxes anymore. This is actually a safety chain. You can see it's got the green link. That chain will stay sharp at least 4 times longer than a regular one. And I've proven it on multiple saws. The only bad thing is you got to have a special wheel to sharpen the teeth. You can take down the rakers, but the actual teeth, you have to have a special wheel on chain grinder to sharpen them. Oh, and the bar's upside down right now to make it wear longer. A lot of times, the bottom part of the bar, right after it comes off the this sprocket nose, the chain wants to keep making the turn, and it will dig a little groove in there. So you turn the bar over, and by turning the bar over, you should get twice the wear out of it. Okay, now chains for the 241 that you can run. You can run the Pico Micro 3. You can, which is a safety chain because it's got the 3 on it. It will be a green chain. You can run the Pico Micro, which would be a semi-chisel chain. It would be a yellow chain because it's don't have the kickback safety. You can run the Pico Super, which would be a full chisel chain. It would be yellow, and it would be a professional chain. And what else? Oh, you'd have the sharp tip on the cutter. And the one that the saw came with was the Pico Super 3, which is a green chain. I don't know if they could sell that saw with the professional chain on it, but that's what it came with. I was just happy to get the saw because they were hard to find at the time. Well, they were hard to find at the time and they quit making them, so I was just happy to get it. And that 16-inch bar on there actually proved itself on some pretty big trees. The chain that I actually have on there right now is the Pico Duro 3. It's a safety chain, but it's also Carbide. The Carbide, like I said, lasts about 4 times as long between sharpenings, but you have to have special tools to sharpen them. Now this would be the cross section of the tooth on a Rapid Super or full chisel. It comes to this very fine point right here. So your 30 degrees would actually be going back on this trailing edge, and it would come to a fine point right here. And that's what makes it a super chain, is that fine point. And that point is designed to more efficiently remove the wood fibers. But the drawback is in dirty wood, you can either wear it away or chip it. Say you hit a bullet or a nail, you can chip this, and then you have a hard time getting that chain cutting straight again. So now on the cross section of a Rapid Micro semi-chisel chain, you'd still have your it would still go back about 30 degrees, and this would be your trailing edge. But the big difference is it's got this rounded corner here instead of the fine point. That rounded corner, you got a larger cutting area that's leading, so it don't dull quite as quick. It don't cut quite as fast. It's not quite as efficient, but It holds an edge a little bit longer, and it's a better chain for cutting dirtier wood, hardwood, and stuff like that. Okay, chainsaws that can run the 3/8 Pico would be the MS-150, MS-151, MS-201, MS-211, MSE-170, I think that's an electric, MS-193, MS-194, MS-201, MS-241, MS-250, MS-251. And then it looks like the 271, they go over to 325. It looks like you can run 325 on the 241 and 250. So this is my Stihl MS-260 Pro. This was actually my first saw. And right now I got a carbide on it. I actually have a lot of different chains for this saw because over the years I just kind of tried different chains out. Found what works and what don't. That's, well, basically why I kind of researched different chains is because I was having problems with keeping chains sharp. This one time I was cutting on a stump with this saw, and you could literally see the chips getting smaller because I was running the wrong chain. So anyway, when I got the 260 Pro, I got it with this Rapid Micro, but it was an older version of the safety chain. So it would have been a green link, but it had these, they kind of call them triple tie straps or whatever. That's when they were first on the anti-kickback from, well, the government, I think, was making them do it. So they had those big triple tie straps in there. And the chain was okay, but if you got in hardwood, it would vibrate pretty bad. That's why if you look in the literature, Stihl says low vibration on their newer ones. Then here we have this is a Rapid Super green link. You can see a little bit of green left on there. So it's a Rapid Super safety chain. So that would, I believe it's Rapid Super 3. Yeah, we got two of those. And then we have my old carbide. And this is actually, the old one was a yellow chain. It was non-safety. It was a professional chain. They had a little shorter carbide on it. But I ran the snot out of that chain until one of the carbides fell off and, well, it started cutting crooked, and then I decided it was time for a new one. So you always got guys saying, oh, I run green chain, I run yellow chain. Well, that really don't mean anything. All it means is the green chain is low kickback, the yellow chain is professional. Here we got a yellow chain. You can see it's got the higher, well, not reduced kickback warning on it. All the chains can kick back. So now this chain here is my Rapid Micro professional chain for my 260 Pro. Everybody's talking about yellow chain. It's yellow, and it's got the rounded cutter. It's a professional chain. That's all the yellow and green mean. It's professional, no kickback. Here is a yellow, again, professional chain. Here's a super chain. You can see the yellow link. So the 3/8 50, they have, you can actually set it up on some of these smaller saws, like a 261. If I would imagine you could do that. And it goes all the way through the 661. I ain't gonna list all the models, there's a lot of them.
There she goes. Beautiful. Pruned a couple there. Pruned some, yep, on the way down. The limbs are...
So this is my 660. This is an actual Stihl. This ain't one of them Chinese jobbers. So right now it's got a carbide chain on it. And this is actually a green chain, low kickback. I also have this would be a Rapid Micro yellow. I got a yellow for cutting off stumps, or a Rapid Micro for cutting off stumps. So it's a professional chain. It's not reduced kickback at all. Ooh, look at that sharpening job on there. I actually did that with my chain grinder. And I took down the rakers too with the chain grinder. Ooh, fancy. So actually I got the 660 set up with 3/8 50 chain. So basically anything, I can't really interchange chains between the 260 and the 660, but they are running the same pitch and the same gauge, but one's got a 16-inch bar, one's got a 20. That's the only difference, would be the number of drive links in them. And actually on your bigger professional saws like your 660, your 460 and stuff like that, you're gonna run into more your full skip and I think there's a half skip. If you're gonna get carbide chain, make sure you look for stuff with the carbides actually soldered on. Don't get like carbide coated, because I think that's a scam. Basically I got into carbide because I was stump grinding. Actually that's why I got this saw, was to cut off stumps close to the ground. That's why I call it stumpy.